What's going on, everyone? Happy Eclipse Day. We're going to talk about something a little disturbing today. I've had her on once before, and just wanted to see what her thoughts are on the new stuff that's been coming out publicly. Um, so let's do this. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so I've had you on before, and you're a survivor of MK Ultra, right?
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to explain to people what just basically happened?
What about my backstory?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, so I grew up in what you'd call a cult, I suppose, connected to the Illuminati. I went through trafficking and MK Ultra, and then in 2019, I just suddenly got my memories back after a spiritual awakening, and I got out and went into recovery from that really and pieced my life back together that I had no idea had even happened.
Right, and you said that your husband was your handler?
Uh, well, he grew up with me in the cult, but I had no idea um, of that at the time when we got married. I had no idea I knew him as a child. That
Hmm.
all came back with the memories as well.
I understand. Okay. What kind of memories come back?
Memories of trafficking. We were trafficked together as children. We grew up together. We thought we met again met for the first time in 1995, but it turned out that actually we'd had an entire childhood together.
Okay. Is that a common thing that happens?
I haven't heard about two people being teamed up like we were in any of the stories I've heard, but the whole MK Ultra thing and not remembering your
Do
past is
you
common.
do you remember how the MK Ultra was? Was there like um low sensory like keep you in a barrel, things of that nature, keep you in the dark?
Uh,
Um
yeah, those sensory tanks. Can't
yes.
think what you call them. Yeah, they were used. We were buried alive. That happened. And lots of movies, like programmed to movies and things, and drugged for that to happen.
What did they use you for?
I was what's known as a better sex kitten, so I was brought into that.
Gotcha. I guess you were just um like politicians and things of that nature, like high value people, or what society calls high value people.
Yeah, elite people, yeah, very high status.
Okay.
I did
And
actually meet Epstein and Prince Andrew, Prince Charles, and Jimmy Savile.
you met all of them.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Have you been to the island?
Have I been to what? Oh,
Epstein's
Epstein
Island.
Island. I'm not sure. I don't know about that. I know I was taken to America, but I'm not sure about Epstein Island.
Hmm. Okay, so what I want you to do is with your experience and what you've been through. We've already told your story on a previous episode. I just wanted to catch people up a little bit. What I would like you to do is explain to me your thoughts on Epstein and the whole thing with P. Diddy, everything that's going on right now, what we can look for, what you will find, things of that nature. Do you want to just tell us what you see when you hear about them?
Um, so what like signs of grooming to look for, do you mean?
I was just wondering what we can look for in the documents that are being released. Like, what kind of things were going on there?
Well, they do a lot of grooming, so they'll go with the vulnerable children more so. If they're kind of selecting children that haven't grown up in this and been groomed from an early age, then they'll use things like the fame aspect, buying them presents, promising them things. But then there's also an element of intimidation that comes into that as well. So if they did resist, they'd be kind of humiliated for that. Um, the intimidation tactics come in, as I say, so you kind of like you're scared to say no in that sense.
Hmm.
So it's kind of a bit of both really that plays a part in that, I'd say.
Okay. Were you surprised? You weren't surprised when the Epstein thing and the Diddy thing came out, were you?
I didn't actually know about Diddy, to be honest, because I didn't really follow him, but I wasn't surprised with Epstein, no. And the fact that it was tied to the royals as well. That
Yeah.
didn't come as a surprise.
Prince Andrew specifically, right?
Yeah.
Have you heard about the Queen and her school of children in Canada?
Yeah, the 150 children.
What do you think about that?
Um, I'd say that's highly likely. I'd believe that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Why do they do this? What is the purpose of this?
Um, Sacrifices, adrenochrome, that kind of thing. They do a lot of energy harvesting, and obviously children are a lot more pure in their energy, so that's why they like children, especially.
Right. And adrenochrome, basically, they get them full of fear, and then they drain their adrenals,
Yeah.
and then they take this as a party gag, as a party favor thing.
And they do it as well, a party favour.
Yeah, like adrenochrome, like they'll all just take it, and they'll all
Yeah.
just.
Yeah, apparently it gets you quite high from what I've heard. So yeah, there's a lot of
What have you
ability.
ever seen anyone do it?
Not that I remember, no.
Okay, okay. What do you feel when you're on it, from what you've heard?
Euphoria. I've heard it's like better than any drug going, apparently.
Really?
We get extremely high off it, like euphoric.
Uh huh. You know that you see these people who are accused of doing it, and then you see their pictures in public, and they just look awful.
Yeah.
Is that a side effect of it?
I think over long term use, yeah.
Jeez. So what do you do with yourself now?
I've just wrote a book, a healing book on how to deprogram basically and heal spiritually from the MK Ultra and SRA. I do my own podcasts and things. Mostly I do healing, spiritual healing work.
How did you make your way from where you came from?
I just felt like it was part of my purpose, really. I felt like what I went through was work experience in a sense.
Hmm.
I feel like that's what I came here to do, and I feel guided by my spirit guides, and that's kind of what I was led into to kind of expose this. But I was even doing that as a child. I used to try and gather evidence and things. I learned quite early on how to fight the MK Ultra. Um, so yeah, I think it's
How
always
so?
been part of me. I used to hide clues and things in. I kind of played them at their own game. So where they use movies and music to kind of program you, I'd hide clues in there. And the thing with MK Ultra is, and they use hypnotism as well. It kind of they need a period of time for that to set in, especially into the subconscious. So if you can leave yourself little clues, they'll trigger your memory when you come out of a session, and you can start piecing it back together and remembering things again. And that's what I learned to do.
Hmm. Gotcha. Um, how do when you're do you have childhood memories of this?
Yeah.
What does a child go through when they're stuck in this situation?
Um, I had quite a lot of abuse. I had my leg broke. I'd be locked in my room for long periods of times to condition me, to have toys taken off me and things. It's quite horrific what they do because they use trauma-based mind control as well, especially if you're not complying. Um, so yeah, it can be quite bad.
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah, not a lot of neglect as well, and like we'd go periods of times where we'd be made to fast, so we wouldn't be allowed to eat. I think that was kind of to maybe heighten up the energy levels. Um, so yeah, it's quite bad.
And when did you break out of that?
Um, well, I didn't break out of it until 2019.
Oh
So
wow.
once I remembered, I got away and yeah, started healing.
Do you know if they conditioned you to have alternate personalities?
Yeah,
You know for a fact that you do,
yeah.
and you have
But
no memory.
that happens anyway with all children. Any children, especially that has gone through sexual abuse, the mind will splinter off. And that's what makes those amnesic walls as well, which also kind of locks those memories down so you don't remember. It's a way for your brain to protect itself
Right.
because, you know, it's so horrific, you just wouldn't cope.
Right. Have your alternate personalities? Have you found out that you had to do anything on them?
Yeah, the trafficking side, so the sex kitten side, that would be in my other alters, we call them
Hmm.
alters or parts.
Now, besides the four that you named before, are there any others that you can name?
The four people.
Yeah.
Um, no, not really. They've just all the roy. I met all the royals. I met people connected to the royals that work in the House of Lords. There was also the top psychiatrist at Broadmoor Hospital, psychiatric hospital here in the UK. Um, and then other elite ones that I don't know the names of.
Okay. Did any of those four, or this amount of people, do you have any memories of them doing anything to anyone?
I don't remember other children there, apart from at the hunting parties, there'd be other children. The time I met Epstein, there was other children. We were in a line-up, and him and Andrew kind of went up the line, and they were picking the children out that they wanted, and that was when I got chosen from that line-up.
And how
Prince
old were you?
Charles, I was 5 then. Prince Charles was there, but he was staring out a window. He wasn't part of the choosing process. Anyway,
Right. Wow.
yeah.
This whole thing is. Do you see a light at the end of the tunnel, or do you think it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better?
Get a lot worse. This
Even
is so infiltrated in society. Like, I wasn't even high up. I'm not, my family weren't elite status, but they were connected to those ones at the top, and there's loads of children like that. And they're the ones really that are programmed to be slaves for the elite.
mhm.
So
Now,
they
are
like
these
imprint
children?
everywhere.
Are they families that are like in the Illuminati that give their children to this, or are they stolen? Are they? Do they not have social security numbers, birth certificates, any of that kind of stuff? They just kind of go under the radar.
Um, well, my story's a bit like that. I was actually taken. I had a biological mother, and I was taken from her by someone that was supposed to be my father, and I don't think he is my father biologically. And they took me when I was 5, but they actually gave me a birth certificate saying I was 2 years younger basically than I was. So they were passing me off as a 3-year old. They changed my name to Emma. My real name isn't Emma. So it has happened to me, and I believe it's happened to other people as well, and they might not even be aware of that.
Celine, why do you think some people like Epstein and Diddy? Why do you think some people get caught for this and other people don't? Do they use it against them eventually when they're no longer of use? I don't
Yeah.
understand the intricacies of this, and I don't think my audience does either. And you're very brave for coming on, and we've already done an interview once before,
Mhm.
and I like having you on because I like being able to share this with people from somebody who's been on the inside.
Yeah.
Um, why do you think some people get away with it, like Jimmy Savile, until they're dead, and then other people like Epstein catch it when they're alive?
Um, Jimmy Savile was very good at what he did. He was very close to the royals, um, like as in friend wise. Epstein, and I think it's just with the times, with all the disclosures that are coming out now, that he was basically thrown under the bus.
Mhm. I'm
They
sure you're
can,
hearing stuff. I'm sure you're hearing stuff about Nickelodeon and
yeah,
you know Disney. We've known about Disney forever, but like Nickelodeon, you hear all this stuff starting to come out. What do you think's going to happen? Are they just going to go underground, or is this going to stop eventually?
I think they're just going to go underground. They do a lot of resets all the time, so it just changes. People think that, oh, they've been caught, so that's it now, it's over, but it's not. It just changes, and kind of, yeah, like going underground.
Do you fight against this? First of all, you're in the UK, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you fight against this? I mean, I know you wrote a book, but do you fight against this? In your last episode, I believe you mentioned that you don't have your children,
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
they took the children.
Right. Do you ever talk to them?
Yeah, I do talk to them. I get to see them about 4 times a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, at what age do you think, are some kids groomed from like 5 years old, like you were, until 2019? So, I don't even know where that places you. But basically, it's a
Yeah.
lifelong thing.
Yeah, it starts for a lot of kids from birth, to be honest. 3 is the primary age because that's when the mind can be more easily molded into
Yes.
what they need. Between 3 to 7. So by the time you're 7, you've kind of learned most of what you're going to carry on into later life. So that's
Uh-huh.
kind of the main period is 3 to 7 years of age.
Uh-huh.
But it can start as early as from birth.
Right. There's something in this community called Panda Eyes. I don't know if you've ever heard of it,
Yeah.
but it's the idea for people who don't know that what happens is when you have anal intercourse or intercourse with a child, um, they get bruised and their eyes get very black like panda eyes. Can you confirm that?
Um, I have seen it. I can't remember it, but I remember my husband getting abused a lot, and I don't remember him having two black eyes.
No, you don't.
No, but maybe these were children that were
Yeah.
kind of not growing up in it, and it's like the first time it's happened. They might have been severely raped as
Mhm.
well.
Right. Jesus Christ. Okay, so how do we fight this?
Keep exposing it. More survivors need to come forward, really, and more people need to take notice. A lot of people just think, well, it's not happening to me, so,
Right.
you know.
Are there like underground tunnels where this stuff happens? Are there specific locations where this happens?
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of underground tunnels. Balmoral, that's being used. Um, Under the Windsor Castle, there's St James's Palace and places like that are all around. There's tunnels there to those different places. Disney as well. Disneyland, there's tunnels between the hotels and Disneyland. So a lot of children are brought in that way. So yeah, there's tunnels everywhere. And that's how they get
You,
away with it so easily as well, because, normal people don't have access to these tunnels. So it's kind
were
of hidden.
you were you surprised that it came out about Diddy?
Um, yeah, I was. I am quite surprised at how much is getting disclosed. That is a good thing. It is definitely
Hmm.
coming out more, but there'll
Hmm.
always be someone else to take their place. That's the problem.
It's like this is such a disgusting thing that people do that when you tell a normal person about this, They get angry at you for putting that in their mind.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
like just don't want to deal with any of
Yeah.
it.
And that's the problem we're up against, and that's why these people get away with it.
So if you were going to expose them, how would you do it?
Um, I just keep doing sharing on podcasts and things. That's all I really can do. The police wouldn't listen to me. Um, yeah, all I can do is just to keep exposing as I do, really. And I'm warning people of the dangers as well, because now that I do work in this, I'm starting to meet a lot of children that are in it. Luckily, their parents have found, well, parent have found out and been able to get them out of it. So I'm now doing work with those children. So I'm now finding out these new techniques that they're using for the mind control. Like a lot of anime is used.
Please explain the new techniques.
They'll use anime for it. They're using these new computer games like Minecraft, Roblox, things like that, and they kind of program them to with sexual images, and then they're showing the kids that way, and they just use it to normalize. So I'm starting to see a lot more of that side of things now, where that wasn't the case where I was younger. We'd be Disney movies would be used on us, Alice in Wonderland, certain books would be used or music. And now, as I say, they're moving into more of this anime and
Hmm.
the computer games.
And you have absolutely no memory of your split personality.
Well, yeah, the memories that I've got that I've had coming up of what had happened to me, they're coming up from my personalities. But what happens is when you start to heal from these, those split personalities will start integrating, so you become one whole again. So when these memories are coming up, they're from each individual part, and as you heal through that, as I say, it'll integrate back in. So that's what the memories are. They're from those different alters.
Mhm. Do you have any memories of you doing anything horrific?
Do I have memories of anything horrific?
Of you doing anything horrific to someone?
Oh, me. Um, I had to train children in what to do. I don't have memories of like killing anyone or anything like that. Um,
But
but
that is
yeah,
most certainly used.
yeah, it can be used. Yeah,
I guess the idea is you'd become your other personality, do something, and then come back to your original personality. And even if the police would ask you questions, you'd have no memory. You'd be locked up.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's how they do it.
Mhm.
How bad do you think this problem is? If you had to quantify it,
It's bad.
it's everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, and it's still happening. As I say, I'm dealing with children now that I work with, and they've
How
been
did you
brought
get
up in
start
it
working
that
with these children?
just from putting videos out there and information on Facebook, and then the parent, the innocent parent, will come to me and ask me for advice on it and what is it, what's it all about. And I'm a certified therapist now, so I can then go on to help these children. Plus, I've got that experience too, which helps me connect.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's basically just from me putting videos out there and the parents
Do
coming
you
to
still have
me.
nightmares from all this?
No, they stopped about 2 years ago.
Do you know why?
Just healing from it, yeah, and understanding what happened to me and working through it. That's all you can do. It's a process, and the only way out is through.
Okay. So give us some signs to look for. If like we see like a detached child or someone just gets explosive angry out of nowhere, like, what are some signs we can look for?
The parent's probably very narcissistic. There will be other abuse apparent there anyway. Um, they will encourage a lot of these computer games from a very young age. Um, they might also, there was one guy who seemingly on the outside was like a great dad, but he was like playing My Little Pony and tea parties and stuff with his daughter, constantly video recording her all the time.
Mhm.
That was quite a big sign for me. Um, yeah, it'll be things like that. There'll always be things kind of going on as well. They might disappear a lot for long periods of time. The child might say, especially if you've split up and they're going round to the offending parent's house, that they're taken out at night time. That's quite a big sign. Especially late at night, if they're getting woken up out of their beds. Um, Forests, if they talk about being taken to forests or woods, that's quite another indication. Other people being around, kind of parties, these sex parties. Um, yeah, there's quite a few indicators like that, really.
I'm trying to understand the mind of a pedophile. I'm trying to understand why would they abuse the child. I can almost understand adrenochrome because that gives you an effect. But why do they sexually abuse children? What is the point of that?
A lot of times it's generational abuse. Like the family I was brought up with, that was very generational. That was how I became involved in it. Um, they see it as was a way of dominating as well. But also there's the energetic aspect of it, the ritual side. Um, they believe in all sorts of dark things, and they think that abusing us kind of supports that.
So it's like a
It's
sacrifice.
it's like a what? Sorry.
A sacrifice.
Yeah.
Have you seen any sacrifices?
Um, I've seen children murdered. Yeah, like at these hunting parties. I've tried
This
to
is a really
save a
difficult thing
few.
for me to get through. I want you to know, but I have to do it. I'm going to let you finish. Continue.
Yeah. I've tried to help a few. I used to be able to find hiding places at these hunting parties because I'd get there early because my handlers were quite high up. And I'd always try and help the little ones. I'd have to comfort them if we were in like a paedophile ring and we were waiting for our turn. I'd have to comfort the younger ones because the handlers don't like it if they're crying. So we'd all get shouted at. Yeah, it's bad.
Good Lord. Are you in a better place now?
Oh, I'm in a better place as in I'm safe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still like I still I'm I'm in survival mode quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm safe and out of it. No one knows where I live, like none of the handlers or anything. I don't put my whereabouts online.
Do you think they're still looking for you?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's a possibility of that, and that's why I'm careful, really.
Do you ever talk to your ex?
Yeah,
You do? You
yeah.
guys,
He's the kid's dad, so he got the kids in the custody thing. Yeah, so I talk to him.
is he still in it?
Um, I don't know. Seemingly not, but I do have concerns sometimes. He does still talk to one of his mother was the main handler for him, and he still talks to her sister, his auntie. So yeah, that kind of worries me, really.
Gotcha. How old are your kids?
The eldest is she's just about to turn 8, and the youngest is 6. No, she's just about to turn 9, and the youngest is 6.
Okay.
So I do worry that they're being got to fire him because I'm not there. I was always the strong one. I've always fought against it. So I'm trouble. So it was easier when they went with the social services, the child services to take my children. It was easier to get me out the picture and away because he's easier to manipulate.
Is that what he did?
He did work against me in the end with child services, yeah, to get the children.
So you would tell him all the stuff you've been through, and he'd tell them that you were lying.
No, he didn't tell them I was lying. We didn't speak to the children about it. I'm not sure what they think with child services, why I'm not allowed to be there. I don't know what's been said because I have to have supervised access with them, so I've never actually spoke to them about what they think, why I'm not there anymore.
And this is a
So,
problem that a lot of mothers have that leave there.
yeah,
How are you not angry all the
yeah,
time?
the healing.
How did you heal?
Angry is not. Um, well, I had a spiritual awakening, so I used a lot of the spiritual concepts.
Hmm.
Forgiveness for myself, letting go of the blame, shame, and guilt, realizing that all these things weren't my fault, especially with my children. That was really hard. Um, yeah, just using a lot of spiritual concepts, really, which is what I've put in my book, my healing manual.
So talk to me about your book real quick. What is it called?
Um, it's got a long title. I can't remember now, but it's healing from SRA, mind control, and fixing a fractured mind, body, and soul.
Hmm. And take us through the book. What do you go through?
Um, so I've gone into a little bit of my background at the beginning. I haven't fully gone into it because I am doing an autobiography. Um, and then I kind of go into how I healed really. So the spiritual concepts that helped me, like losing all the blame, shame, and guilt. Using a lot of white light to heal energetically. Um, Changing my beliefs. So any false beliefs that were put in there that I don't believe personally, I'd get rid of them. And then we always have to replace with something else. So you're putting a new belief in there. It takes 30 days to create a new belief. So you just have to keep reinforcing it all the time.
Hmm.
It's quite tedious work. It did take me a long time to do it.
Hmm.
There
Hmm.
may be quicker ways, I don't know, but I
Okay.
just followed my guidance really on what to do. Use meditation, breath work, and the more you do that and healing with the working with the inner child. So I didn't see my alters as separate people. I saw them more as an inner child. So I worked with that inner child part of me. I gave them the reassurance they needed in the moment, um, the love that they never got at that time, and that kind of helps them to reintegrate them back in. Because I found a lot of survivors call themselves we because they think that they're like all different people in the head. I found that that kind of reinforces that separation. You need to realize that you're still one person. These are just fractured parts of your mind, which we can heal, as I say, and bring back into one.
Hmm. And you go through all this in your book.
Yeah,
Is your
yeah.
book
So
out yet?
yeah, it's on Amazon.
Okay.
It's on ebook. I am trying to get it on hardback, but I'm having a nightmare with the
Yeah, I know the story.
getting the cover right.
Right. So, wow. I don't want to keep you too long because this is a very intense interview and it's kind of horrifying. Um, so I don't think we're gonna do an hour. But can you give me some advice that you have for anyone who wants to help children that need it in this kind of situation? Give me advice for parents. Give me advice for people who are just tired of dealing with this.
For parents, I would seek someone that knows about this kind of thing. There can be like booby traps set up within the mind
Hmm.
of MK Ultra survivors. So you need to be really careful kind of navigating that. I wouldn't approach anyone. You could try going to the police and reporting it to the police if you see anything, but I'd be wary about approaching them because depending on how high up they are, people can disappear.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
important to be careful.
How long do you think this has been going on?
Hundreds, hundreds of years. I've actually traced it back so far to 1901. I believe this came from Germany, like tentacles infiltrating everywhere, which is the Illuminati. So it's in like, it's not just the mind control side of things, but the mafia are involved, the drug trafficking, um, adult trafficking, like women and men, like it's everything.
Do
So
you
it's like tentacles, yeah. I'm just about to do a presentation. I probably could go back further if I wanted to, but I'm starting at 1901 and going to come forward from that point to now.
Mhm.
For all the things to look out for and how the history of it really and how it infiltrated everywhere.
Hmm. And you're basically anonymous now. People don't know you online, right?
No, yeah,
Right. That's
we're
probably
not.
the smart way to do it. Um, wow. Okay, so I want to give you a couple minutes just to share any thoughts that you have before we wrap up. Um, just let me know basically what's on your mind regarding this and what we can look to.
Um, I'd say stop ignoring it. Just because it's not happening to you doesn't mean it won't happen to you. You could meet the wrong person at any time. We need to be looking out for each other, especially the children. And the more of us that kind of speak out about this and come together and say no and bring it into the light, the more we're going to stop this from happening. And really, that needs to be the way because you've got the odd person like Epstein and Diddy now that are getting exposed, but then there's all these other people as well. And we just really need to look out for each other. It is there if you open your eyes. It's on your doorstep. It's in every country, in every town.
Okay, Selene. Well, thank you for coming on. I'm going to put this up right away. I'll send you a link, okay?
Okay.
Celine, thank you for coming up and being so brave.
All right. Thank you
Guys, I
for.
hope you learned something with this, to be honest with you. I really hope you learned something here. So I will talk to you guys all soon. Again, thank you, Celine.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.